Hello, welcome to the Lucky Hit podcast, and I hope you liked the happiest song ever put into a video game. Well, I think it was anyway. It was.
Yeah, it was certainly something.
So that's from a game I'll probably talk about briefly on what I've been playing. But yeah, we'll get back to that. It
sure cured me of the big sad.
Yeah, if 2020's bringing you down, just crack on Druid for the Amstrad CPC and have that play while you're loading.
I'll just drag that out the loft.
Right, so welcome to the Lucky Hit podcast, episode 93.
Hey.
93.
7 away from 100.
Yep.
Excellent.
And it is the 29th of October, 2020. Woo!
Nearly the end of the spoop month.
Nearly the end of the spoop month.
Almost.
Yeah, spoopy year. Yeah, so I am the Gagaman.
I'm scary terrier.
Oh god, I can't think of one. I'm Morbid Curry.
I'm sorry, I've got one now. I'm the Gagaman. There we go.
I'm Shelved Ghoul.
I am the ghost of Jodie Doomhead.
And you're very loud.
I'm sorry. I can't speak to it any other way.
And I am the headless Elkman. I just came up with that on the spot. I forgot.
It's alright, we all do.
Mother! I pinched my finger on something.
I couldn't tell if that was a bit or not.
Acting. I assume that was acting.
No. I really pinched my finger. I'm all right though. I'm all right. I'm not bleeding or nothing.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
I still got my head.
Off to a good start, I think.
Yeah.
I gotta stop fiddling with things on the podcast.
Yeah, we could.
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah, me neither. Right, so usually we would start this thing with like what we're getting up to on Lucky Hit, but really it's just kind of like the usual at the moment. Like I'm still trying to do weekly Splunky 2 stuff, and we've still got a weekly podcast, and pardon me, and we're all kind of just doing our Twitch thing as well. And the way I'm looking at it is, if there's any streams we do that we're quite proud of, we can always slap them on the YouTube channel as well, if that's what you guys want. Yeah. It's always
absolutely.
It's always an option. I'm thinking of putting a couple that I've done in the last week on there, possibly. But yeah, I guess we shall start with what we've been playing. I don't know who wants to go first. Anyone? Otherwise, I'll go.
You go first.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I've actually been playing loads of games, but they've all been on one system. They've all been on the Amstrad CPC. So
I was expecting you to say the Switch.
Ah, yeah. I have a lot of games on the Switch, but I haven't actually barely touched that this week outside of just using it for YouTube. But I don't know if anyone saw the Twitch stream I did, where I actually just pointed a camera at the monochrome green monitor that we have with this Amstrad CPC. But if you didn't see that stream, basically, your grandmother's moving out of a bungalow, and they found a box that just had an Amstrad CPC that used to
Used to be my uncle's.
Yeah, and it basically had an Amstrad CPC, a monochrome green monitor, and about 80 games on
Yeah.
cassettes.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So this last week, I have basically been just trying to test out all of these games, all 80 of these tapes. And as you know, it's an old microcomputer. The games take roughly 10 to 15 minutes to load, so it's taken all week. I think the only games I've got left to test now are the football games, because I left those last. There's actually a World Cup Italia game in there, but it's actually a completely different game to the Mega Drive one.
So no. So no.
No go. But what's really good as well is I think your uncle really looked after that system, considering it's been sitting in the loft for like over 25, maybe 30, I don't know, a long time, a very long time. We literally found a little registration card from when he was 16 that he filled out, basically saying this collection of football games that was in a box was complete rubbish, waste of money. But it actually said, you know, purchased 1980, I think it was
1989.
1989, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
he was definitely a teenager.
Considering, you know, he had these games when he was a teenager and that, he really looked after all these tapes. Out of all of these tapes,
I was going to say,
all
on
the ones I've played so far, only about 7 haven't worked. Only 7 of them are giving me little error screens, so I've been really pleased with that. And there's some really cracking games in here. I mean, I did show a few off on that stream, but that was only, at that point I'd only tested about 25, 30 of them, but now I've almost done all of them. And yeah, there's only a handful that didn't work. So obviously I'm not going to go into all the games I played. I guess I could just point out some little key ones that stood out. For example, Frank Bruno's Boxing, which I didn't even notice this until I opened the box, but this game has Punch-Out characters in it. And then I played it, and it is Punch-Out. These guys just ripped off Punch-Out. It is literally a clone of Punch-Out, but with Frank Bruno as little Mac, I suppose. And the first 3 characters are literally stolen from the Nintendo game, but they've changed their names to make them even more offensive in some cases. I'm not even going to repeat some of these because they're just absolutely horrible. But yeah, that's a thing. That exists. I don't know how they got away with it, but they did, and it was apparently a million seller, and it was in like greatest hits compilations and stuff. But there you go.
Wow.
It's the Wild West back then.
Oh, it really was. I guess one thing to note with all this microcomputer stuff, if it has a Codemasters logo on it, it's probably really good. Like, pretty much every single game I put in that has a Codemasters logo on it is excellent. There's actually a couple by the Oliver twins in here. I haven't got any Dizzy games, but there's a lot of what they call simulators. There's like BMX Simulator, and there's like Arcade Flight Simulator, and all these kind of games. And they're not really simulators at all, they're just fun arcade games. And there's this other one that's really cool called Super Stuntman, which is really neat. You actually sort of like play the role of like someone driving a stunt car, and you actually have to... I'm trying to think, there was a game on like the 360 and the PS3 that was kind of like this, where you basically had to do a take of like this action scene, and there's all like explosions going off around you, and you have to go up ramps and
I think there was just a series called Stuntman. I think I have one of them.
Yeah. I wonder if that's... I don't think it was by Codemasters, though. It just so happens to also have the same name and the same premise.
True Danger. I think that's the name of the PS3.
Oh, that's the... I remember that one. That was kind of like...
that's a PS3 game, yes. I had that game. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. There's this other one in here called The Last V8, where it's like set in a nuclear devastated Earth, and you have seconds to return underground before the radiation shield decays, and you're basically just driving around in like a V8 car, and you've got a limited time to just drive to like a hole, basically. But the way it controls is really bizarre. It's like Micro Machines perspective, and you're pressing like left and right to move left and right, but it's really particular and quite difficult. Me and CherryT had quite a bit of fun with this Blockbusters game, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because it's like a 2-player, you have to buzz in on the keyboard and then type in your answer and stuff like that. That was quite fun.
Nice.
I'm absolutely terrible at it, though. I'm just not good at general knowledge, but
It's 80s general knowledge as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I was quite surprised. None of the questions were really specifically 80.
Maybe apart from like
maybe like one
politics
or two
ones, but yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of political ones, I guess. That was like, who's the current like Labour leader? It's like, let me think. There's some really good shmups amongst here as well. I was actually really surprised. There was some really nice scrolling shooters. One called Light Force, which kind of plays a little bit like Superstar Soldier, kind of. A bit more simpler, I suppose, but it's got that vibe to it.
What did you say it was called? Life Force?
Light Force.
Light Force, not.
Light Force.
Yeah, not Life. Yeah, no. And there are apparently ports of stuff like Salamander on here, but I don't have those. That music that we were playing at the start of the podcast, the happiest song in the world, that was this game called Druid, which is kind of like a gauntlet type thing where you're basically walking around top down with like this little wizard guy and you've got all different magic spells you can attack things with. That's pretty cool. I haven't played a lot of it, but apparently eventually you can actually like summon and create your own like little goblins or something and have them do things for you, but I haven't got to that point yet because I just keep dying. But yeah, loads of really cool little games in here. As I said, I think there's around 80 games amongst this, and it would be impossible for me to yammer on about all of them because I'll be here all day. I'll probably do another stream soon because what I'm considering getting is you can get like a powered SCART cable, so it's basically a SCART cable with a plug on it that you can hook up to the Amstrad and just basically play it on a CRT with the full colour and proper sound coming through the TV as well. Because the way the Amstrad works is the plug goes into the back of the monitor and then the front of the monitor's got a cable that goes into the Amstrad, and then that plug basically the monitor powers the computer. So you only need one plug for both things, which is really cool. I was really surprised how just easy once I finally got the thing working, because when I first got the Amstrad it wasn't reading tapes or it wasn't like playing properly, it just kept getting stuck when I was trying to play. But I popped the thing open, cleaned it up, looked up some videos about how to just try and give it some TLC, put it back together, and it was working perfectly. Outside of just a handful of games that gave me read errors, and it's just been really simple to use. I was actually surprised because I've heard how complicated things like the Spectrum were to like the original Spectrum. They were very fussy about loading games sometimes, and one little bit of code can't be read properly, or you have to put the volume on them a certain way and all this kind of stuff. But no, with this one you can even just mute the volume while it's doing all its like all the noise it does while it's loading the code. You can actually just turn it down and it just loads perfectly fine. It's just been really fun to play around with. It's like, for the first time in ages, it's the first time I've bought like an old computer or an old console in a very long time, because obviously most retro stuff is very expensive nowadays, so it's not really a luxury you get anymore. But just being technically inheriting this system has actually been the most fun I've had with like an old system for ages, really. Just quite addictive, and I must admit I've been trying to bid on more bundles of games on eBay.
It's impressive because the Amstrad is not exactly a seal of quality in terms of build quality, so
exactly, that's what I heard. So I was really worried this thing wasn't going to work at all. I wasn't expecting it to be honest, but once I just gave it a little bit of TLC, it's been running perfectly. And that monitor, I don't think the live stream with the webcam pointer that really did it justice, but even though it's only monochrome, it's so sharp. It's just so nice looking. I actually kind of want to find a way to run other consoles on it just to see what they look like, because I saw a video online of someone running Reds for the Dreamcast on an Apple II monitor in just that green monochrome, and it looks so cool. So I really want to try that because I'm sad. So that's pretty much what I've been playing. Don't know what's going next.
Would it be alright if I went next?
Yeah, go for it.
It's going to be brief. Well, you were saying about the game where it's like post-apocalyptic, like Earth or anything. I played a game that's got a similar premise to that, and that was my first ever Twitch stream.
Oh, yes.
First ever solo one. Yeah, and it was the Bunker on Steam. And that's like I think I might have talked about it before, but I can't remember. But
I've seen this game before.
Yeah, just as a refresher, it's a F&B game that was actually filmed in a real, like, well, it's actually a tourist attraction now more than anything, but it was actually a real nuclear bunker. Like, back in the 80s, it was so like secretive that the BBC couldn't even name where it actually was, but it's one in Essex. Actually near where I used to live.
That
game is you play as like what might essentially be the last survivor of the military staff that were sent down there, because he was born just as the event was happening, and you've got to find out how to fix the air filtration system. Otherwise, he's just going to get because he noticed his radiation levels were going up and up and up.
Yeah.
It basically just like spanned a whole bunch of like flashbacks of like his childhood and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a point and click F&B. It's quite short. You can actually get the whole thing done in about 2 hours. And some things are not as obvious as others. Yeah, playing that on Twitch did remind me of how really slick the actual filming was.
It's honestly probably the best. It's not much of a tentpole, but it's like probably the best quality F&V game I've ever seen. Like, it's actually good.
Yeah.
Like, it's shocking. I remember you played it a couple years ago. I think it was on like Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah.
You bought it and played it on Steam, didn't you? And then you ended up rebuying it on the Switch. And I was just kind of just flabbergasted that someone actually made a good F&V game with good direction and acting and gameplay and everything. It's like actually good.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I'm probably going to grab it.
Okay. Yeah, I recommend the Steam version, because on Switch it's been a good like how'd you say it? Their heart was in the right place when they put it on the Switch, but it didn't control so well on there.
Yeah, because I think there's quite a lot of like QTEs in that where you have to rapidly click the mouse button.
Yes.
And they didn't really translate that stuff to the Switch in a way where you can do that as quickly, I guess. So it's a little bit harder.
Oh no, it was still like good that they put it on the Switch, but
you can play it on the go.
Yeah, that's
Watch this guy do very horrible things to his arm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was quite graphic, wasn't it? Yeah, I enjoyed that. I didn't catch the beginning of it, but I watched pretty much from about halfway through onwards. And I was really impressed. I was interested in checking it out because I remember we kept seeing it at E3, didn't we? And it was always wasn't it produced by Elijah Wood? So he just kept popping up. I think
he like formed the studio or something. I can't remember the exacts of it, but yeah.
So he just kept popping up. I thought it was quite strange.
Yeah, I think they've made a few other games now as well. I think they did like a heist game. And a few other ones, and I think they've got another one coming out soon as well.
There's this other one called The Complex.
Yeah. I think that might have just come out, or came out a little while back. But either way, if you're looking for actually good F&V games, I think the developer's called Wales Interactive.
Yes,
yeah, just put their games up if you're actually looking for something that's not campy and not garbage.
Thought provoking.
Yeah, actually, you actually sit there and go, that was actually, a good story and everything.
Yeah, it's like I absolutely love and feel a bit proud that it was filmed in like Kelvin and Hatch.
Yeah, that's a really good touch. The fact that they didn't have to get sets because they had the perfect set.
Yeah, and what was cool as well is it looked very authentic for the time it was supposed to be set in as well. Like they had like Commodore and Amstrad computers in there. As props.
Yeah, that was cute. Have you played anything else this week?
Yeah, that's about it.
That was mostly it, really, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, I haven't really been doing a lot of gaming lately, I guess.
Not this week, no.
Nah. Anyone else? Or who's next, or whatever?
All right, yeah. I'll go next. I've been playing just bits and bobs, really. Played through the final station on stream. That's one that I wanted to cover this month, and I still want to do the DLC of that. Just an interesting little pixel horror game that I really got into last year. Yeah, I forgot. I mentioned at the start of the playthrough that the soundtrack was understated, but what I completely forgot about was how it was actually silent. Most of the game is just silent. That took me back a little bit. I was like, oh, I could have sworn there was some noise here. But yeah, it was really nice to play it again. And like I say, I do still want to do the DLC for that. And I've just been playing little bits and bobs, really. Been doing a little bit more Morrowind, just basically grinding away on that as usual. It's my sort of comfort game, that one. Whenever I want a sort of a break, I've played it so much. A lot of people wouldn't think of Morrowind as a sort of comforting experience, but when you've played it constantly, it's like second nature now.
Yeah.
And I just grabbed Lama Lana 1 and 2 on the Switch. Literally, that turned up this morning, and I just had a quick bash of it. And I can tell that's going to be a game I'm probably going to put a lot of time into.
It's not mandatory, really.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun. From what I've played so far, I've really enjoyed it. So I'll be playing a bit more of that. Other than that, I've been doing a little bit of practicing on Resident Evil 7 because I'm really bad at it. I'm really bad at that game. I was playing it last night, and it was funny because I was getting sort of mullered, but I was kind of enjoying it. It's weird. I was enjoying it.
Was you just playing it on screen, or were you playing it VR?
I'm not playing it on VR. I want to experience that first time stream, and I'll tell you now, I'm kind of not looking forward to it because I was getting, especially last night when I was practicing. Especially last night when I was practicing it, I was getting spooked out just on the screen. Never mind the fact that being in there is 10 times worse. But I sort of find it frustrating and irritating because the 7 had a real obsession with these invincible characters wandering around. But they kind of, since they kept that engine for 7, the RE engine was made for 7, and they've been using it ever since. Yeah, that's why they've had things like Mr. X and obviously Nemesis. Like, they've kept it going. But 7 is just like that. Just imagine that, but like a whole family of Mr. X is chasing you around, and they're just irritating because, like, for instance, I finally got out of the intro where there's just loads of these little set piece sort of chase sequences that are just irritating because you've got to work out what the game wants you to do. It's not like you can think on your feet. You've got to do these scripted. It kind of annoys me when games do that, or at least they do it too much.
Yeah.
So I finally got out of that, and I got into the first bit where you get to actually explore yourself, and they've made it very similar to the original game where you're in like a big mansion, basically. And yeah, but that only lasted a few minutes before, once again, this tiny map, I went into the wrong room and I activated the guy chasing me again. And it's really annoying when you don't know where you're going. I know that's the point of the game. You don't know where you're going. You've got to find key items why this guy will not leave you alone. I know that's the point, but it comes to a point where you've got to say, can we just chill out with this now and let me actually explore? And that's kind of, I've pretty much got to that point there where you're fighting the game's normal enemies, the molded, and I'm just really bad at fighting them. I just keep dying. Like, I've never died so many times on a Resident Evil game, because usually the whole thing about Resident Evil is very slow paced, isn't it? You're like sort of, you don't die that often because it takes you so long to navigate the map. But
exactly.
But in this one, I just keep going down all the time because I'm just getting used to the combat. And so I'm still trying to squeeze in a little bit of practice because I'm running out of time. But I was having a go last night. I just kept dying, but at the same time, I was oddly enjoying it because, I don't know, I just like the fact that I'm learning a new Resident Evil sort of style, because that game's very different. And I know that with 8 coming out, they're going to go for that sort of 7 style more. It looks like they're doing it on a grander scale this time. That's what it looks like, anyway.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it's cool. It's yeah, Resident Evil is one of those series that just keeps changing things up, and I'm actually kind of cool with that idea. I like it. I like it when they mix things up instead of doing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. Not too much really, but I think we'll probably talk about it later. But I've got a lot more stuff planned for next week.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll probably be a subject for later on. So yeah, who's next?
I guess I can go next.
Cool.
Of course, I've been playing Animal Crossing. Halloween theme is still going on, so yeah, my island's full of pumpkins now. What else? Well, as probably everyone knows, I've been on stream a lot lately, and just trying to think out what I've been playing. I've obviously been playing a lot of Donkey Kong. I've recently acquired an adapter for my Switch where I could plug in my arcade sticks from my PS3 and Xbox 360.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my PS3 is actually a Mad Catz Tournament Edition fight stick. The very expensive
one of those. That was the Street Fighter 4 one, wasn't it?
Yeah, the expensive one.
I kind of wish I kept it, to be honest, because I ended up getting rid of it because I wasn't around the time I stopped using my PS3 frequently, because it didn't work on the PC at the time. So obviously I had no adapters, so I just sold it. But I kind of wish I kept it now.
Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work with my Switch. I don't know if it's just a power issue, because I know it's quite a beast to power that, but yeah, thankfully my Xbox 360 arcade stick does work. And yeah, it is me trying to relearn the game using different control methods. Although, yes, it is very similar to how I normally play in like an arcade and all. What else have I been playing? I'm actually looking up my streams of games I've actually been playing.
So you played a bit more GTA 5, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. Just generally messing around because there isn't as such a Halloween theme, although there are like special Halloween items that you can add. A few of the slasher games are making a reappearance for a limited time. So yeah, they're quite fun to play.
Yeah, they were. I love the mode where you become, I think it's the Wolfman, isn't it? You can just jump across the map.
Yeah.
They're quite fun.
Yeah.
I do plan on doing a bit more GTA 5 because I want to take advantage of Twitch. Was it Twitch Prime Gaming when you can get just loads of stuff for GTA 5, like millions of dollars and things? Yeah, it's crazy.
Just for being a Prime member.
Yeah. I'll have me some of that.
Yeah. What else? Last night I played Control, which was Twitch's cloud service.
Yes. Yeah,
it was only a demo, but it's impressive that they are finally doing cloud gaming over here in the West, because I know over in Japan it's been...
I was thinking we could talk about this more on the news bit, but the fact that they're actually starting to do cloud games here, I was a little bit confused when I saw that one on the eShop, because it made it look like it was the full game and it said free.
Yes.
I was like, what?
I'll say this before going on to the next feature. I honestly thought that when it says limited time, I thought, okay, it's the whole game for a limited time, but no, it's a limited amount of time that you get to play it. So I was a bit disappointed with that, but hey ho, I gave it a go.
How smoothly did it work for you, the streaming?
Yeah, very like as if I was actually playing it as if it was off a cartridge or a download.
Right.
It did look smooth. Yeah.
Was you playing it wired or wireless, like internet wise?
Wireless.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
I might have to give that a crack then.
Is it free? Did you say?
It's you get a limited amount of time to play.
Oh, okay.
So, don't expect it to go on forever.
Okay.
Which I thought it did, but no. Let's see what else I've been playing. Played some, excuse me, Drawfall 2, which was fun.
Oh yeah.
Well,
we have been playing some Drawfall 2,
Yeah, the whole group.
A good chunk of us, actually.
Literally, I went on stream and said, "Yep." I literally put the code out there, saying, "Hey, I'm playing Drawful. Come and join me." And yeah, that was quite fun. I'll definitely do. Well, don't know when we can do it again, but
yeah,
I'll
definitely give
be
it a
up
try.
for more of that. That was actually the first time
same
I've
here.
ever played a Jackbox party game
same
full
here.
stop. So yeah, it was
Quite
Yeah,
a few of them are fun.
yeah. So whoever's got a mobile device, then yeah, join in.
Yeah.
And just finishing it off, the last game that I played this week, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I still want to try that.
Yeah, it's good. I had actually changed to the Tony Hawk's 2 control scheme, which made things a tiny bit harder because I'm used to
doesn't
like
it like default to like the Tony Hawk 3 onwards style? Yeah,
I mean, that's handy, but it just isn't quite authentic. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it probably will be another topic that we're going to discuss later. I had to mute the audio just in case.
I do that anyway.
Yeah,
that's my first port of call when I play a Tony Hawk's game.
Yeah, just like, I love the soundtrack, but no, I don't want to get chucked off the air. So yeah, that's been my week this week.
All right. So if I go next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. 223,400.
Thanks for that.
What?
So yeah.
You quizzing us on math today?
So yeah, I've been playing a bit of Donkey Kong. Been doing a little bit well.
It's been getting to your head a bit.
A little bit. But I decided to change my input method.
Artistic ASMR.
Yep.
Beautiful sound.
So
music to my ears.
I'm moving from controller to stick now, and it's like Hunk Thunder said, it's a new, like he obviously has experience with arcade sticks. I didn't really play DK with an arcade stick much, so this has been a new thing for me, and yeah, so I'm having to sort of relearn in a way. And yeah, so I don't expect to get good scores for a while, but I've been enjoying it. Using a stick, it feels more fun with a stick. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's been a pretty good stick, and yeah, I'll say I've been playing some Donkey Kong a bit, and I've also been playing a little bit of Cadence of Hyrule.
Nice. Yeah, I watched your stream of that. That looks really fun.
Yeah,
I missed that one as well.
Oh, yeah, no, that was fun.
Was that early in the morning or something?
Early-ish, yeah. It was one on the birthday. No, before the birthday stream, I think. Yeah,
I do want to watch. I do want to see that because I don't know if I can grab it. My Switch is too packed full of stuff at the moment.
Oh, it's physical now. That's why
it's out now, is it?
Yeah. That's why I streamed it, because I've got a physical of it.
I keep confusing it with the other one.
Not that one.
Oh God, no! I watched that stream.
Yeah.
I keep confusing it with Warriors of Hyrule. I'm such a tit.
No,
I did watch that stream, and it was really enjoyable. And I want to get that game. Bloody hell!
Yeah, no, I'm impressed with how good it is, because I knew it was going to be Crypt and Necrodancer, but Zelda, but I didn't realize how much Zelda would translate into it. So yeah, no, they translated Zelda really well. It's got it's a full overworld. It feels like a Zelda game, but with rhythm elements. So yeah, I've been thoroughly enjoying that. But I haven't really gone back to it since, so I will have to find time to do that. I don't know whether that will be on stream or what, but yeah. And I've also, as of today, been playing No More Heroes, the remaster.
Hey.
Yeah. So I haven't played No More Heroes since way back when it came out on the Wii. I played that one time, and I haven't really gone back to it. And I liked No More Heroes. I seem to remember there was a lot of busy work when I played it, and I confirmed that today. but the gameplay's fun, and it's just a fun sort of, like I find the writing, even though some of it's really silly, it's really good to laugh, and yeah, so I'll probably see that through. I've only played a little bit of it. I've killed like two people.
Two of the guys, yeah.
Yeah, two of the targets. So yeah. Oh yeah, I've been enjoying it. It seems to be based on the Wii version, for better or worse.
From what I could tell, it was a straight port because I did play the PS3 version that came out sometime later, which kind of redid some of the graphics a little bit and added a few little bits and bobs.
I do.
I played both versions. I'm a little disappointed it doesn't have apparently doesn't have the extra stuff from the PS3 version, but even so, one of those things was it had some of the bosses from No More Heroes 2, and both of the games are on Switch now, so that at least isn't a total loss, I think.
Oh yeah. That would...
I think that's probably why they ported the Wii version. I actually kind of like the fact that they've just unapologetically just put up an up-resed Wii game. I'm fine with that. I'm totally okay with that because No More Heroes is a Wii-ass Wii game.
It was
a waggly game, that.
Yeah.
One of the best on the Wii for sure, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Good to have that on the Switch in one way or another.
Oh, definitely.
And its sequel.
I think the idea with it was for parity, so that when you move to the second game, I assume that the PS3 game looks better than even the second game does on Wii. So
it did.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Just probably to keep some kind of parity, so you moving from 2, it actually feels like you're moving to the next game as opposed to downgrading, I guess.
Yeah. when
Kinda.
Playing...
It was.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
It was. It did look exactly like the Wii version. It had the same animations and everything. It's just they improved the cell shaded look of the game a bit, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So it was. Think of it like Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2, where the game looks completely different from the PlayStation 2 originals, but like the cutscenes, they use the exact same animations as the originals. So the animation wise, it's the same story, but the graphics aren't improved quite as much as what they did for the Yakuza games, for example.
It's pretty much just an enhanced port in a way. But there's one thing that I noticed through the stream that it was kind of like what's that effect? What's that thing called where you
Mandela effect.
A bit of a Mandela effect where I could have sworn in the original Wii version when you go into Travis's house, he had like a full Mega Drive, Mega CD, and 32X in the background. But it turns out I was thinking of the PlayStation 3 version because apparently that's in the PS3 one, whereas in the Wii version it's a N64. And yeah, sure enough, in the Switch version it's also an N64 that's facing backwards for some reason.
It's weird. It's just a weird thing, isn't it? It's I don't know why it was a Sega console on the PS3. Maybe they helped publish it.
No, it was published by Konami on the PS3, so that makes even less sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I always thought that was kind of strange too. I mean, not too strange. I understood why it's not a Nintendo console, but for a PlayStation exclusive... Oh, well, no. It wasn't PlayStation exclusive, no. It was also on the Xbox 360.
Japan.
Yeah, in Japan only, but still, it's the same exact game, just spread out to 2 different platforms. And
that's a bizarre marketing decision when I think about it.
And it is weird when you think about it, yeah. But knowing that, I could completely understand why there wouldn't be a PlayStation there, at least.
Yeah, maybe that was their best choice. It was like, what can we use? Because it's far enough away that it hasn't specifically got like Sega branding on it, so they can get away with it.
Yeah, it is strange though, because it looks exactly like the
so
Sega
detailed.
platforms.
It's so detailed.
Yeah,
it's the same for
and
the
you wouldn't be
N64 as well, actually.
And you wouldn't be the way it's shown in the game. You wouldn't be able to see the logos even if they did put it on there.
Yeah,
but you would think they'd still have to go through Sega just to get the hardware design.
You think so? I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that's all I'm playing. I played a couple of things on my birthday stream. It was just Wonder Boy again. You know, that old chestnut. So yeah,
that run went pretty well as far as I could tell. Like,
Which Wonder Boy was it? The original?
Dragon's Trap, the remake.
Oh, Dragon's Trap. Okay.
Yeah. It's not my personal best, but it was under an hour, wasn't it? I think it was under. No,
it was maybe I can't remember now.
1 hour 2 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, it wasn't far off.
Yeah, so maybe I'll do it again.
You running that thing?
I try. I'm not that good at it.
Nippy runs. What we like to coin as nippy runs.
Yeah. If you take your time in that game could easily take 2.5, 3 hours.
My first time playing through the remake was definitely quite a few hours.
It can be a fairly reasonably Metroidvania length, or it can be a fast Metroidvania length, I suppose. Yeah. So that's about what I've been playing as far as I can tell. Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. Well, we've saved the best for last, as usual. So first off, first of all, PSO2 intensifies. Arcs operatives, where you at? Yeah, I never stopped playing PSO2. Oh, really? Oh, I thought you forgot.
I always forget.
So the Halloween event is still going. It's going until I think the midpoint of November, I believe. So yeah, I did I did the trick or treat urgent quest a couple more times, and I finally figured out what the music that plays during that quest is. It's actually what was it called again? This Is My Happiness by Jeez, I'm blanking on the singer's name right now.
Fine.
But if you've played.
You still there?
Hello?
Lost your elk.
Oh, hello.
Hello?
Uh-oh.
What happened?
I think we lost our elk.
He's gone.
Oh no.
His voice is still going on the thing. Maybe he wants to log out and log back in again.
Maybe, yeah. If you can hear us, even.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm trying to find out why it's a Sega thing on More Heroes.
Oh, right.
Oh, for God's sake.
He should be back in a sec. Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
No?
Uh-oh.
Oh, dear.
Hey, sorry guys.
There he is.
Discord. I really hate when Discord randomly disconnects me. But as I was gonna,
in that time, did you figure out who the singer was?
No, I'm sorry.
I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, but there's a couple more urgent quests that were also going on that they started a few weeks ago, and I forgot to talk about them. But these are based on the events of episode 5, which I have not yet been able to play very much of. So there's one called there's one about something called the Crimson Menace, which is a giant dragon that attacks a castle, medieval castle. That's the there's a medieval setting in episode 5.
Yeah, I
It's a
seem
bit
to
like
recall you saying about that. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit like how Phantasy Star 3 ended up starting as a medieval setting.
Yeah. And speaking of classic Phantasy Star, this urgent quest also features a character called Elise, which looks very much like Alice Landale from the original Phantasy Star.
Oh, no.
Very similar outfit, same pink, yellow, and silver highlights.
Nice.
And they call her Elise in the game, so maybe that's how her name was always meant to be pronounced, not Alice. I don't know.
Yeah,
and not to mention that during this urgent quest, she spawns a special weapon for you to use to seal the Crimson Menace called the Laconium Sword.
Oh,
Which,
But it's
Yes.
nodding to the classic series.
Does she give you burgers and cola?
Nah, I wish. But you're going to want to stock up on healing items because, boy, oh boy, the Crimson Menace is not an easy fight. I am dreading the moment where I'll have to fight this thing in the single-player story mode, if it is a boss. because the Crimson Menace, not only is he huge and he just hits like a tank, he's also very fast. There's a lot of moments during the fight where I have to run over to him, and the minute I catch up to him, he darts over somewhere else. And he's got these big attacks. He's got this wide-spreading fire breath attack, which is, even though it's telegraphed, so I know it's coming, it's still incredibly difficult to dodge. Takes some very spot-on timing. And boy, oh boy, does it hurt. I like, even though you play the urgent quests with a bunch of other players, usually when I face the Crimson Menace, the battle lasts for like 20 minutes.
Oh wow, so it's a proper raid.
Yeah. And then there's another one that started after that, another urgent quest, involving something called the Castrum Demonica, yes. And this one, the Castrum Demonica fight is it's more like a tower defense type of thing, where you have 4 towers, you have to set up defensive and offensive units all around them. And there's going to be turns where the Crimson Demonica, a giant enemy castle, by the way, a living castle.
Of course.
It's going to send a bunch of D&D monsters after you to try and mess up your towers. So like stuff like orcs, griffins, goblins, things like that. So you have to deal with all that stuff, and then you're going to attack the castle that the Crimson Demonica has sealed himself in with a bunch of buster rams that magic rams that are supposed to break through the walls, but they have to charge up energy to do so. So it's going to send enemies after those things that you got to beat up before they destroy the buster rams.
Oh,
and you know what? The Crimson Demonica urgent quest is a lot harder than the Crimson Menace one. So like right now, my main character in PSO2 is level 80, and if you try to do the very hard difficulty for this particular quest, which you have to be at least level 80 to do, well, that's a lie, because I've never been able to pass that once, ever. So yeah, I've only ever been able to do it on the easiest difficulty, which is actually very hard, and you have to be at least level 70 for that one.
Oh wow!
I think.
Blimey.
There's a lot more you got to think about in this fight.
Yeah. Is there any other games you've been playing this week?
Yeah, a couple actually.
Yeah.
So we've entered the moment in October where a bunch of Halloween events start happening in a bunch of multiplayer games. So I went back to Team Fortress 2 for the annual Scream Fortress event, which is more or less the only time I ever play Team Fortress 2 nowadays. It's during the Scream Fortress thing.
Fair enough.
That's when they have a whole bunch of Halloween-y maps, which later on get reskinned into maps that can be played at any time of the year. But during Halloween, they typically have a bunch of Halloween-themed bosses that come up during the match. And you get a bunch of Halloween-themed items all the time. Lots of different Halloween weapons, hats, other cosmetics. And it's just so much fun. It's like, oh, it's so funny. Just oftentimes I forget how funny Team Fortress is. Usually it's just like random voice clips that come up now and then, or just weird things that happen because of the Havoc physics engine. And I've also been playing Rocket League again on the Nintendo Switch.
That's free to play now, isn't it? I have downloaded it, but I haven't got around to actually playing it yet.
It's fun.
Well, you should try to make some time before November 2nd, because they're also doing a Halloween event, which when you play during this event, they give you a bunch of challenges to do, and by completing those challenges, you can win a bunch of Ghostbusters themed items for your cars.
Nice.
Yeah, and also I believe they took a away the premium cars from the eShop, and they're just going to make them available again at certain times. So the Ecto 1 from Ghostbusters, that was one of the premium cars they used to sell. They're selling it again right now for a limited time during this event.
Oh,
So
cool.
there's that, so you can complete it with some of the other Ghostbusters stuff. So they also have some extra game modes they're doing right now. Like they're doing that same Pong-like event that they did over the summer during the 5th anniversary event that I talked about a while ago. They also did another one. I think they do different game modes every day until November 2nd.
Neat.
And then there's one other game I've been playing. Two others actually. I'm playing Splatoon 2 again to warm up for the Halloween Splatfest that's starting tomorrow and goes on all weekend.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow night.
Or something.
From tomorrow all the way through till Sunday.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
That gives me plenty of time then. Oh, I'll probably try and jump in for that.
Yeah.
Yes, you probably should. They're redoing the Splatoween Splatfest, which I think they did 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, that was a particularly well-themed one.
Yep. The teams for this event are Team Trick and Team Treat. And last time, Team Treat won, which was the team I was on. Represent. And I'm gonna
enjoy all the candy corns.
Yes. And I'm gonna join. I already joined that team again. Because I just love the candy. All right.
Candy corn.
And then
Who doesn't?
oh yeah, I love candy corn. Yes. I can't wait until after Halloween when the stores start marking down the candy again, so I can get a bunch.
That's when you get it. That's when you go for it.
Yeah. Unless you're stocking up for kids trick-or-treating, which that's not going to happen this year.
Or lockdown.
I was going to say, there's going to be a reduction in that this year, isn't there?
Suspect.
Yeah. Doesn't stop them from still selling the candy, but yeah. And I've also fired up Vector Man on the Genesis again. Because this week...
I had a little bash of that the other day, actually.
Yeah, because this week it was the 25th anniversary of the game's US launch. So I just love any excuse to play that game again. It's one of my favorite games on the Genesis. And I know it's not everyone's favorite game on the Genesis, but
it was one I had as a kid, and I did enjoy it back then as well. I just never got very far in it. It's a hard game.
Yeah. Admittedly, I didn't get far in it either as a kid, but I beat it once. Now I'm gonna beat it again because I know a lot of tricks to get a bunch of extra lives early on now. So
cool.
It's so much fun to keep it going. And I think that's about it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, cool. So that's what we've all been playing. Quite an interesting mix of stuff this week. Right, so before we get into the news, I just want to show you this tweet I've got on here. Let's see if I can get it to pop up. Hang on. Right.
This should be good.
It's not showing it properly. Let me try and get that on the screen so you can actually see it. That would help. Right, yeah. So here's a tweet. Have a look at this. There is always big news just after we do a Lucky Hit Series podcast. Look at the date on that tweet. August 28th, 2013. I thought this was a recent phenomenon, but apparently this has been happening since we started this podcast. So yeah, literally the day after our last podcast, that happened again. So Nintendo just dropped a kind of a nice big surprise on us. So they're going to be localizing the original Famicom Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light.
Quite a
I'm
mouthful, that
totally
name.
getting that.
I absolutely loved how they revealed this in the trailer. So they basically had some kids playing Smash Brothers Melee, and then them unlocking Marth, and the kids being like, "Oh, who's this character? He's from some Japan-only RPG no one's heard of. He seems cool though, but I don't know who he is." And then they were just like, yeah, it even emphasised the little bit in the corner of the trophy where it says Fire Emblem Japan only. And it was like, until now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that was a really
that
cool
took me
touch.
back. I remember I saw Marth and Roy in Melee back when those games were new, and I used to be really curious about what the heck Fire Emblem was. I was so excited when I found out they were bringing over that Fire Emblem game on the Game Boy Advance, even though neither Marth nor Roy was actually in it. But now now I could finally see what the heck Fire Emblem was.
Yeah,
such a different world we live in now, isn't it?
From then, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, us Europeans felt the same way about the Earthbound characters in Milan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like Smash Brothers Melee was because it was like my first Nintendo console since, well, outside of like Game Boys, it was like my first Nintendo console since the NES. Like, a lot of that game felt, because I got that game pretty much with my GameCube, and it was like my introduction to most of these Nintendo franchises. And yeah, like, for example, like Earthbound, I had no idea what that was. I literally had no context for what that game was outside of what the character did in the game and the music. And same with Fire Emblem. I was like, well, the music's cool. It's a guy with a sword. It's a guy with blue hair with a sword. I'm sure he's a very unique character, and not at all like gonna end up being lots of them later.
I was gonna say how things have changed, because now we're like, oh, another Fire Emblem character.
Yeah.
So
it really goes to show you just how much Fire Emblem really took off in the West ever since then.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's now probably one of their premier series. Let's be honest. It's up there with like the big ones. You know, it's up there with the Mario, and the Zeldas, and Metroids, and whatnot.
Like, I'm sure it really had Nintendo of America wondering why they didn't bother with this series a long time ago.
So just to actually explain what we're like talking about here, basically on December the 4th, they're going to be releasing the NES game fully officially translated for, well, $6. They're just going to put it out there. It's going to be basically just the NES game, but with like a proper translation. And judging by what we've seen so far with the screenshots, it's that kind of translation where it's the kind of translation that wouldn't have been possible back in the day, just because of the sprite limitations of like the size of the characters for the text and stuff. It's all like lowercase, small text, you know. They've obviously had to do quite a bit of work reprogramming. I think they've done this. They've done this a few times. You know, we've actually been quite blessed in the last couple of years when it comes to translations of old RPGs.
Yeah,
it has. I mean, at the same time, this isn't quite like when they finally brought us Mother on the Wii U as Earthbound Beginnings, because that was a translation they'd actually completed in the 90s, only for them to not actually bring it to retail.
Yeah,
but they just happened to still have it.
Yeah.
This one, on the other hand, far as I know, I don't think they even considered bringing Fire Emblem to the West at the time. So there was no translation for them to dig out of the old archives.
No, this is clearly they've injected a variable width font into this, so it can fit in the code seamlessly, which is usually high level hacking for fan translations.
I'm pretty sure they had to do that with like Trials of Mana as well, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yeah. And I, for one, am incredibly pleased about this because we've had the original Fire Emblem game come out in English since, but it hasn't been the best version of it. The DS.
You're talking about Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon on the DS, right?
Yeah, Masamune.
It was like a remake, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had Masamune.
It was a remake, yes.
Yeah, it had Masamune Shirau's art, which was fantastic, but the sprites were like...
What? Seriously? Masamune Shiro?
Yep, he did the art.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea.
Go have a look. You'll
As
see.
in Ghost in the Shell,
man.
Dominion Tank Police.
Apple
I like that. That's my frame of reference. Dominion Tank
Apple.
Police.
Yeah, that dude's one of my favorite artists. I actually had Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon on the DS, and I never noticed any similarities with his art before.
Yeah, he did it. The only problem is that the battle sprites were like horrible garbage, pre-rendered, like pseudo 3D kind of things. It wasn't 3D. It was like digitized graphics, and it looked horrible.
It wasn't exactly Donkey Kong Country.
No, but yeah. So I'm happy to have the NES game. It's a shame we didn't get the Super Nintendo game because that has a whole extra game built into it. Which so we don't have access to that, but I'll take
maybe they'll build up to it.
I guess, but they are doing this for Fire Emblem's I think 30th anniversary now.
Yeah,
so
it makes sense.
I get the novelty of wanting to show us the very, very first game, the one that started it all.
Yeah.
For a limited time because Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's happening? Basically, there's a download code. So it's a download of the game. It's like just not even £6. It's like £5 something. So that's cool. But they're also doing like a physical collector's edition. I'm just trying to find a picture of it. It's got a download code with it, so it's obviously it's not on a cartridge. But let me just see if I can find a picture of it because I can't seem to find it right now. But yeah, there's like this quite nice collector's edition that comes with like almost like a faux like NES cartridge and a box, as if the game actually came out, like localized for the NES. There it is. Found it. Let me just put that on the screen so people can see it.
Yeah.
There it is. Hang on.
Oh man, that looks so cool.
It does.
Yeah. I mean, I hate the fact that it doesn't that it has a download code for the game, but I mean, it is still a really cool package.
To be fair, I wouldn't expect them to put an NES game on a cartridge. That'd be a bit,
I mean,
much.
This is an NES game, but like at the same time, Limited Run Games just released Shantae, a Game Boy Color game on a Switch cart.
That's true. But yeah, it comes with like this replica game pack art. It's got like it's even got like a Nintendo Power poster by the looks of it, which is really cool. It's like revisionist history. It's like, remember when this came out and there was a strategy guide in Nintendo Power and they told you how to do this, that, and the other? It's like, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But it comes with like an art book and all this kind of nice stuff. I'm not sure what the price of this is because I haven't seen it anywhere yet, but I presume it's not going to be
I don't think I've seen it
super
either.
expensive. I can't imagine it's like a retail price thing because, as I say, it's just got a download code in the box.
I don't even know if it's coming to PAL regions. Even I don't even know.
Judging by the Nintendo Power poster, that makes me think it's maybe an American only thing, but I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, Nintendo are doing this thing just like they did with the Mario 3D All Stars, and it's available until the 31st of March. For reasons.
Why?
I don't know why they're doing this.
This better be a big old April Fool's.
I have an idea. I have a theory of what they might be doing. They're basically giving you the opportunity to purchase it and like own it forever temporarily, and then they're gonna stick the translated ROM on the NES online app. Because obviously, if you had it on there and that was the only way you could play it, obviously you wouldn't own it forever. But this is like them saying, "Oh, you can get it forever as a separate download," I guess.
Yeah,
I guess, but there's no way of knowing that they're
of
actually
course
going
there
to do
isn't.
this.
I just think that's a possibility
just
because the Fire Emblem for the Famicom is on the Japanese version of the NES.
Yeah,
Online,
it's there
so
right now.
There's a chance. I feel like that's a possibility. Maybe not like on April the 1st, April Fools, here it is for nothing. But or for a subscription or whatever. But again, you wouldn't permanently own it if it was on there. I just feel like I don't think they'll do it the very next day after it's been delisted digitally. But I do think they might eventually put it on the NES app because it will give people a second chance to play it. You know,
Well,
not own it,
well,
but play
Might
it.
take them 5 or 10 years, but yeah, it's a possibility.
I don't think.
But
it will
even
even,
so,
I'd say
even
months.
so, just
I'd
because
say months.
just because it makes sense to us doesn't always mean Nintendo's gonna actually do
Oh
it.
no,
They're
of
weird
course
like that.
not. This is Nintendo.
just
I mean, talking about.
I ranted quite a bit about this sort of thing with Super Mario 3D All Stars, and I'm not going to repeat myself there.
I don't think we
you
need
frequent
to. It's pretty much
listeners
the
remember.
same thing.
Yeah,
well,
you frequent listeners know how I feel about this already. Jeez.
Yeah, I think the main difference is this isn't £50.
No,
This is like a
I
$5.
guess.
It's so cheap.
I
There's
guess
no
that
reason
at least
not
this
to
game.
download it.
I guess at least this game is cheap. Sure,
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
but
you don't feel
but
pressure.
like at least with Super Mario 3D All Stars, you get a card with the games on it if you buy the
Well,
physical
if
release.
you buy the physical,
But you don't. It's important to remember that you still don't have full ownership of a digital game, whether it comes with a subscription or not.
True.
But like I say, it's one of those things where I think this is more of a curio for Nintendo to be like, this is a thing that exists and we're going to do it. And yeah, it's annoying, it's limited, but it's £5. So it's like, I find this
exactly.
It's nice, and I know somebody's gonna rip the ROM from this thing and put it up online. That happens with a lot of things. Like it happened with the final cut of the Disney's Aladdin Genesis game from that Disney double pack last year.
Yeah.
It happened days after Trials of Mana came out, so
Yeah. So
yeah, and it happened with Samurai Showdown 5 Perfect. It's gonna happen with this as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
anyway, yeah.
So it's not
I
that.
don't know.
I'm gonna say it's not as big of a deal as the Mario thing, just
No,
because
not
it's
even
cheap.
close.
People can dump the ROM. It's out there. You know, they're giving people the opportunity to play it at all fully officially translated. I think that's fine. But it just kind of feels like Nintendo's doing this like we need to get all this stuff to stop for the financial year or something, because that's usually what March 31st is. It's like a financial year thing, isn't it? So I don't know. This must be just something like the higher ups are doing. Like, oh, we need to financially stop this stuff so we know exactly what we're making next year. I really don't know.
It could be like a weird tax.
maybe I could.
Yeah,
I hadn't
maybe.
even
It's
think-
like a tax thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. But either way, I just really hate that Nintendo appears to be making a habit of this.
Yeah, I mean,
it's twice now, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't hope.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't become a serious habit. The odd thing like this for a small thing that's really cheap, I'm not so bothered. But
Yeah.
less of the Mario
Yeah.
35 thing, if you please.
Still, they translated the Fire Emblem game when there was no official translation before, so that makes the whole thing, especially with the collector's edition, that makes it a lot more special, at least.
Yeah, it's not.
If I had to come up with
like the
something
Mario
else
collection
positive,
is literally it's pretty much just HD ports of the original games with next to very little done to them. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's true.
They actually had to patch that in the last week actually, because they patched in the ability to reverse the camera controls in the Mario games, because I think Mario Sunshine was like the wrong way round from what it was originally.
Yeah.
Like it was inverted.
Yeah, thank
Oh, I bet
God.
I think it was like inverted by default or the other way around. I can't remember which way around it was, but either way, they actually patched in a little update.
That's good.
Just to, yeah,
Me neither, but like that's one of those things you really just have to have in by default.
Mm-hmm.
you'd think so, but I you
Yeah.
know, for
Still,
as much as people say why didn't
still,
they do
having
it
it
in
in
the
a
first
patch-
place, at least they did it eventually.
Yeah, having it in a patch is better than never having it at all.
Exactly. Yeah, at least they listened. That's the way I look at it. And yeah, in the case of those Mario games, I actually wouldn't be shocked if they decide to re-release those individually later down the line as downloads.
Yeah.
The cartridge of all three of them on is a limited thing, but maybe they'll give us those games later. Which
It
would
makes
be fine
sense,
by
but
me,
if they're
'cause
gonna,
I kind of only want Galaxy.
it makes sense. But like, if they're gonna do that, I don't see why they don't just tell us right away.
So
Like,
Yeah.
just
Because
tell
I-
us from the
because
beginning
element
that
of
you're going.
surprise.
Just tell us from the beginning that they'll after March they'll be available separately, but at a higher price. So like, if you want to buy all three, you're gonna pay more than if you'd paid for the bundle when you had the chance. I'd be cool with
wouldn't
that.
make sense for
I'd be cool with
to
that.
do, like. That'd be like saying, hey, we have a HD re-release of this game coming out, but don't buy it because we're going to do another version of it that's fully remastered later. Yeah, by that logic.
Yeah, but like the incentive here is that if you act quicker, you pay less money.
Yeah, that makes sense, but, you know, we don't know how these things work, I suppose. And Nintendo have always been a bit funny business-wise, I guess you could say. Like they've always had some interesting choices for some of their stuff.
That's why they put even fans like me on edge all the time. That's why I can't help myself with the rants.
Yeah, fair. Well, with that, I think we should probably move on to the next bit of Nintendo news, basically, because they, I can't remember what day it was, but sometime in the week, I think it was just the other day, or the day before. Yeah, they threw out another Nintendo Direct Mini out of nowhere. Apparently, this is actually the last one for the year.
Last partners.
The last partners showcase, anyway.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty damn good one. We've already talked about it, but I'm going to say
so far.
Yeah, yeah, possibly. I mean, I really digged the one with Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 and Taiko no Tatsujin Adventure Pack, but that's just me. Yeah. That's my tastes specifically been like accounted for. I guess that one was for me specifically.
True. That one's a rare bullseye.
Yeah, it really was. So this one, it had an update on Bravely Default 2. It had a look at was it a new Story of Seasons game, or is it one they've already released?
It is a new Story of Seasons.
Ah, yes.
It is a new one.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
That looked great, didn't it?
Yeah. And obviously,
really
I'd say the biggest reveal for all of us, which we've technically already talked about and what we've been playing, was they finally showed off gameplay of No More Heroes 3. And then they also went, and within the trailer were like, oh, you could easily enjoy this game without playing the previous installments, but it would be a lot better if you could play the previous installments before you play the new one. And it's like, well,
it'd
what
be
about
a shame
that?
if we couldn't re-release those games. Oh, wait.
It would be a shame if we couldn't release those, both the first and the second game today.
Yeah, they did that typical Nintendo thing, didn't they? When is it available? Now?
5 minutes ago.
I'm going to have to bring up the trailer, just muted on the stream.
That's how video game development works, isn't
it? Yeah, I'll just bring it up on the thing. Yeah. So, yeah, because they've been like sort of teasing No More Heroes 3 in loads of different stuff all over the place, haven't they? And like being really, really secretive about anything to do with it. Like even at E3, like Suda51 was just like standing in front of like Travis just standing around in the background, and it was like, oh, you're going to show it? Nope. But they finally showed it. It looks like a No More Heroes game. It's exactly what you want.
You know,
more of that. It looks great.
I remember before they launched Travis Strikes Again, they were saying something about how they were planning on making No More Heroes 3 if that game sold well. And then, like, a day or two after Travis Strikes Again came out, I think it was, they announced, yeah, we're going to start making No More Heroes 3. Almost like the sales of Travis Strikes Again never actually mattered.
I feel like, yeah.
I mean, I hope that game sold well, but still, I'm so glad we're getting it either way.
Yeah. So as soon they showed us a brief bit of 3, gave us that little hint, and they were like, oh, wait, No More Heroes and No More Heroes 2. When I just loved the way they showed it. Like, I'm showing it on the stream right now. But the way they did the available now, it's like the cheesiest. Like, look at this, available later today. It's just like this most ridiculous, like.
I love those weird weird dancing people. That was totally me when I first saw that.
Yeah. I just thought that was fantastic, the way they revealed that. And yeah, they're both available currently. I think they've got a bit of a reduction on them at the moment.
About
I think so they're about £16 something at the moment.
Yeah,
£15
and about I think it's about $18 in the US.
Yeah,
in the US.
So either way, that is especially for the second game, that's cheaper than it would be to buy the original Wii copy now. Because I
Yeah.
played the original on the Wii, but I never got the second one just because it was, for some reason, it was really hard to find when it came out, so I never got around to buying it.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
now it's quite expensive, like it's
It
like
never really got
£40 or something like that. So no, it was never
Yeah,
cheap.
that's-
It was never cheap. So I
That's
just
one
never
of
got to
that's
play
one
it.
of those games. That's one of those games where I'm really glad I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, that was
yeah,
probably what I should have done, to be honest.
I played and beat both games on the Wii twice. They were amazing. And then I bought the PlayStation 3 game. I actually pre-ordered that one too. I don't know if that one's expensive now, but yeah, I really love No More Heroes.
I don't often see it, so I think it might be rare-ish. But either way, you have a probably much cheaper way of buying them now. In the case of these downloads, I'm just really hoping they do a physical double pack. Like if they can do a physical version of Travis Strikes Back, they can do a physical pair of these games. Like
I would love that.
I'd love.
I hope so.
All
too.
over that.
Yeah.
But hey,
Oh,
look
I would
at
definitely buy
the
that.
bright side. Look on the bright side, though. At least you'll still be able to buy them after March next year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool that we'll be able to play basically every No More Heroes game on the same console. That's brilliant.
Yes, and I encourage everyone listening, at least if you have a Switch, to go download those games.
Oh, for sure. If you haven't experienced them before, definitely give them a shot. They're
not
quite janky and like almost like in a deliberate sense, but I love that about them.
And they're difficult games. Make no mistake. I struggled with them a lot, but your patience will certainly be rewarded.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let me just say that the first No More Heroes came out in 2007, and then the second one in 2010. And for that time, those games had such a unique punk rock type of unapologetic, wacky anime style to them, which was it's a very common thing today. Maybe not in the exact same way, but like when those games originally came out, those games were seen as very, very unmarketable, and almost every indie game like that, they just floundered in obscurity, and they never recovered from it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the series kept changing publishers almost everywhere. I think the first one in America was published by Ubisoft, but it was published by Marvelous here, and then the PS3 remake came out. I think Konami published it, so it's like everyone just kept passing the buck on who to give it to. But yeah,
and then
it feels like Nintendo has been really supportive about the series, though.
Yeah, and I forget who published the second one in the US, but I don't believe it was Ubisoft.
No, I don't think it was. Another game they showed off in the Nintendo Direct that I was quite happy to see was a game by HAL Laboratory that was released on mobile a while ago. It's a game called Part-Time UFO. I just think this looks absolutely adorable. Yeah, from the developers of Kirby.
It does look...
all that good stuff.
Yeah,
this one came out on mobile last year, and I was just kind of gutted it was a mobile-only game, but I'm just happy to see it's like coming to the Switch now.
You know,
I think that also came out on the day of the Direct as well, so I love that they do that. I love that they just go, here's the game, it's out. You don't have to wait for it, it's just out. If you want it, it's out. If you're hyped, you can just buy it. Just buy it now.
Did anyone else...
I like that.
Was anyone else aware that this was a mobile game before the Switch release?
Yeah, I don't think many people were, because as I say, it just kind of got released on mobile with no fanfare whatsoever.
I didn't even know HAL Laboratory made any mobile games.
Yeah, they've made a few.
I mean, I can see how this game made perfect sense for mobile devices. It's just...
technically made independently from Nintendo. It wasn't like a Nintendo published thing, so it wasn't really like...
Yeah, I know.
But this version's clearly got Nintendo's seal of approval, because it's got Kirby characters in it, so...
Yeah, that's great.
Available today!
And of course the UFO that you play as looks a lot like UFO Kirby from Kirby's Adventure, which I'm sure is not a coincidence.
Yeah, probably not. And then the last thing they showed off sort of revealed that there was going to be an extensive demo of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. which also came out on the day, I guess. But yeah, nice that they put out a nice lengthy demo, which apparently, it's a save file that you can continue with in the full game.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
another
first
cool
chapter,
little touch.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I forgot to download it though. I gotta give it a try.
Yeah.
I loved when they showed the Guardian Temples from Breath of the Wild and how you could control them and just carpet bomb the whole land.
So good. Yeah.
But it just made me think to how those were big dungeons in Breath of the Wild with lots of puzzles and everything. I actually completely forgot the original purpose of those big things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And does anyone else have any things they'd like to say about the Nintendo Direct? Like anything that stood out to them?
Nothing particular, but with just a small caveat on the Suda 51 thing. I think we mentioned this a little bit before, but Killer 7, please.
Yep. Go on. It's on PC. You can do it. It won't be hard. Just putting that out there.
Well, I've never played Killer 7 before, but I'm pretty sure that No More Heroes took a lot of its cool from that game.
Oh, for sure. It's even shares a couple characters from that, if I remember rightly.
What it's got as well is it's got this really nice little nod to it where you unlock these 7 abilities and they're all related to the 7 characters. The personas. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah. And there was also another game I remember from that Direct. I'm blanking on that name, but it's from Clay Entertainment, the same people who made Mark of the Ninja, another excellent game, which is also on Switch.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah, they make good games.
That game was it's like a game where you have to talk with people and then battle them in a post-apocalyptic environment.
Oh,
you do so through a card game, which normally I'm not into that thing, but it looks really interesting what they're doing with this game.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Survive? No, that's a different game.
Oh, okay. What was it?
I think this one's called Griftlands or something.
Oh yes. Yes, I know the one you mean now. Yeah. This one. Yeah.
There was another game in the Direct called Surviving the that one.
Yeah. Oh.
There was another game in the Direct called Surviving the Aftermath, but that I completely forgot about that one, which tells you how interested I am in it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you like,
they revealed.
If any listeners like that game, that's cool. So, like, hey, don't shoot the messenger.
I've just spoiled what the next bit of news is, which we could probably just move straight on to. Yeah. On
good thing I wasn't listening to you.
I didn't say it. I showed it, but yeah. So moving on from that, I guess this is just like a little thing that I just thought was kind of cool. So there's this guy on Twitter who is a retro game preservationist who basically restores and finds all this old, like old retro tech. He's got his hands on a prototype Mega Drive controller, which I think is pretty wild and ahead of its time, and it's kind of cool to see. So I've put it up on the stream now. It's basically a sort of like a pair of handles, almost like Joy-Cons or Wii remotes, one for the D-pad and one for the start and A, B, and C. And yeah, it's got like this little disc, this like part in the middle that basically attaches the controller, almost like what do they call the thing with the Joy-Cons? The little handle thing where you put the Joy-Cons into.
The grip.
Yeah, so it's got like a little grip thing in the middle. And as you'll see in the pictures, you can actually take that off and just use them individually. And they can even be reversed, so you can basically play the games left-handed, essentially. Yeah, have the D-pad in your right hand if you really wanted. And I just think this thing's really cool, and I kind of wish it came out. Like if someone wants to make one.
It is really neat, and I like how that guy pointed out that you can switch both controllers in your hands if you're left-handed, so you can use the D-pad with your right hand if that's more comfortable to you.
Yeah,
I gotta wonder how many people did that with Joy-Cons on the Switch.
Yeah.
Maybe not with Joy-Cons, but I know I had a bit of a similar premise where with the Wiimote and the nunchuck. Because I've got a hearing issue. there was a particular mini game in the original Rayman Raving Rabbids where I had to like swap like controllers.
So you can hear the microphone.
Yeah. While
Oh,
also
yeah.
controlling the controlling Rayman in there.
Yeah. The other thing about this controller is it has a rear side trigger on one of the controllers, so it's like almost predicting.
It's like the
N64.
Yeah, it was just like that, wasn't it? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you got to think.
Or
this was a rejected
or like you could also
idea.
Or like you could also think of it like the B button on a Wii remote.
Yeah,
But, the Nintendo 64 obviously
it's
came
a
first.
trigger. It's like a back trigger before back triggers were a thing.
I wonder if it's a function button to turn ABC into XYZ.
Possibly. I mean, if they were thinking
maybe.
that far ahead with X, Y, and Z, yeah.
Yeah, it's just It's cool. I like it.
It's interesting.
I want someone to re-release this. If like Retrobit wants to make this
Yeah,
available to buy, I would buy this because I love that style of controller where you can split them. I absolutely adore that. I love the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, and I love the Joy-Cons for that exact reason.
I was just thinking that same thing. Like, wouldn't it be cool if Retrobit were to look at prototype controller designs like this and like try to actually make them into a controller, even if it's just in limited quantities?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like,
that'd be really cool.
Like right now, I know they're working on a 6-button Genesis controller in a 3-button style shell. So like they're giving you the best of both worlds.
Okay, that's cool. Because I always
plus
thought
with
the
what
6-button controller was a little bit too small compared to the 3-button. I always thought the 3-button was more comfortable. So that's really cool that they're doing it.
You know, it's weird. I actually put both controllers side by side, and they're actually the same size. But with the 6, with the 6-button, they have to cram more buttons into that size shell. So, not to mention it's shaped differently. So you'd be forgiven for looking at it at a glance and thinking it's smaller than the 3-button controller.
It just feels smaller. If that makes sense. I don't know why. I think it's because of the shape
because
of it, maybe.
It does, because like they cram more buttons on it, so you have less room to maneuver your thumbs.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I think that's why people assume it's smaller.
I think it's also because the 6-button controller is a bit curvier as well. It's got like more curves going around it, so like the 3-button controller just feels flatter in a way.
That too. But anyway, because of that and because of that Dreamcast controller they're working on that they revealed months ago. It shows that they're not, even with Sega backing them, they're really not afraid to deviate from what the original controller designs were like. Sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love for them to. It was so like I'd totally be down with this 2-controller thing if they were to do that.
If anyone from Retrobit's listening, or any of those other companies, if someone wants to be the first to get my money, you can do that if you want.
just put the 6 buttons on that mother, and we're good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If they could do that, that would make it even better. But yeah, I like it. I think it's a cool thing, and I just think it's neat. Yeah.
Yeah, you could just sit back with your hands beside your legs, just look like you're watching TV instead of actually playing a game.
That's the thing. I just
like
think those style of controllers are just so goddamn comfortable. Like the first time I used the Wii and the first time I used the Switch Joy-Cons, I was just like, I love this. I don't always having my hands like just scrunched around this one thing.
That's what I used to do with Wii games, where you could play with the Wii remote and nunchuck, and where they weren't reliant on motion controls. Just sit back like that, looking like a jackass.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just incredibly comfortable. It's just something about that. Because sometimes I do feel like controllers are just a bit too like scrunched up. Like you really have just got your hands like clawed into this close little thing. Yeah, some controllers are just too small and like all these different little buttons, so you have to have every finger wrapped around it, and sometimes
Yeah,
it's
I
just
know what
nice
you
to
mean.
have something a bit more lax,
I'm playing
Yeah.
3DS again at the moment, and I've got the new 3DS, the small one, and I actually get hand cramp after
I
playing
do.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, same with me. And like when I'm playing my Vita, I need an attachable grip in order to use that thing.
Yeah.
Because when I try to play without it, oh man, I can't. My hands hurt trying to play the Vita without a grip.
So,
Right. Yeah, that's that little thing. Let me just find the other. Right, so one other little bit of news I've got here, which I thought was quite interesting and might have some stuff that I don't really know what we can add to this, but I'll just put it out there anyway. So the Oculus Quest 2, as we know, Facebook owns that stuff. Now they own all the Oculus VR stuff. They own that company, so everything goes through them. Essentially, I think the one biggest beef people have with this system is the fact that you have to have a Facebook account to use it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and apparently people were actually having issues with like merging their Facebook and Oculus accounts with some of their previous ones, and apparently it over last weekend it emerged that if you delete your Facebook account, it also deletes your Oculus purchases.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they have really, really tangled Facebook into this thing. Facebook, that site that not everyone really wants to stay on. the thing that, most people have just got out of obligation at this point. Like, it's almost like you're almost kind of trapped into keeping it because certain things require it. And the fact that this VR device, because isn't the Oculus Quest 2? That's the one that you don't need a PC for, isn't it? That's the one that's just like an independent
I believe
device.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
So, basically, a WebXR developer, Robert Long, offered a $5,000 reward for anyone that could jailbreak it. And supposedly someone has done exactly that and found a way to get the thing working without a Facebook account. Yeah. So
that's lovely.
it
I didn't even know there was a cash reward for that.
That's the bit.
Yeah, a lot of people
I think that's the bit
that.
that becomes. I think that was I think a similar thing happened with the Switch as well. Like when someone managed to find that really bizarre way of hacking the Switch, which literally involved short circuiting something in the screen or something like that. Like you had to
something like
stick
that.
something in a certain hole and short circuit something or something. I don't know.
I remember even Nintendo was calling out to people to find security flaws in the Switch to report to them. But I don't even remember if Nintendo was rewarding people for it or not.
I doubt it.
It is a practice. Yeah, that is a thing that happens.
Knowing them, I wouldn't put money on it, but it is a thing that happened.
So basically, this exploit that's been found, it hasn't been released yet because they're basically just trying to get make sure it's all safe to even do, but also to try and keep the person that has discovered it safe, so they don't get sued to oblivion or whatever it's going to be. But apparently Facebook are trying to stop this from happening, essentially. Yeah, as you can imagine. So the guy that put out the award, he basically had this say. He said, "We have the right to repair our own hardware. It is our right to restore access to this hardware when it's taken from us. We have the right to legally modify our own devices, just as people already do with their phones."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
yeah, you know what? I agree with that sentiment a lot. But at the same time, the whole thing with the Facebook account and having all your games linked to it, that's not really something that is exclusive to Facebook. So, for example, when you sign up for an Xbox Live account, that's actually a Microsoft account. So
yes, of course.
you would use that same account for stuff like Microsoft Outlook. That's
Oh,
how you
yeah.
Oh
get
yeah,
an
for
Outlook
sure. I think the
email.
main difference is this is Facebook. People
it's-
don't like
yeah.
Facebook. A lot of
I mean,
people
yeah.
don't like it.
I mean, I'll be clear. All right, I don't like Facebook either. All right, I hate them. But I do want to add some perspective to the whole thing with the Facebook account. Because just to be clear, when you use the if you make a Microsoft account for Xbox and you use their other services like Outlook, you can't just expect to delete your Outlook account and think you can keep your Xbox games, because those will go away too.
Yeah.
Your digital games,
Oh
anyway.
yeah, of course, yeah.
That's the other thing about Oculus Quest 2. Like, I assume there's no physical games on this thing. Everything's digital.
No.
So if you don't have a Facebook account, then your Oculus Quest 2 is worthless.
I think the problem is, in this case, this is an exception, is back in last October, apparently people were having issues with the headsets due to the Facebook account merging. Basically, the thing was working until they had to log into Facebook. And as soon as they tried to merge their accounts, it messed up their account and it actually stopped the thing from working.
Bit like how de novo makes games run slowly for some people.
That thing.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's something else I completely forgot about. So Facebook, as we all know, is a social media site.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like many other social media sites, if you get too offensive on that site and someone reports you, they could possibly ban you.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't always have to happen because you actually said something offensive. Like,
Oh yeah, it has happened accidentally. I see where you're going with this. Like, basically, if you got banned, would that screw up your Oculus game library? Would that stop you from being able to access all your games? Would that make your VR headset unfunctionable? Would it brick it?
yeah.
You know?
Not to mention, like, there's cases like right now. I have a friend who's actually being harassed by someone on Facebook and it's getting so bad, and Facebook is not doing a damn thing to help. She's actually been considering deleting her Facebook account. So I just so this stalker could stop harassing her. And like, I talked about the Microsoft account thing before, but Microsoft does not have a social media site beyond Xbox Live.
They have
So-
emails, but that's about it.
Yeah,
For the most,
emails,
yeah.
but that's not exactly the same thing.
No.
So with Microsoft, you don't have the exact same kind of danger of having your getting banned from their services for something that might have been completely out of your control.
And now,
exactly.
what I wonder is the distinction between deleting your Facebook account and deactivating it. Now,
Yeah. That's a
Because
good
you-
question.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot you could do that with Facebook.
Yeah, so if you really,
They have to clarify that as well.
yeah, if you can deactivate it and you still get to keep all your games and that, I don't see too much of a problem.
Yeah.
Because you don't necessarily have to have anything to do with the social media element, though. I do think, like I say, that's going to be number. If you have a moral thing against Facebook, obviously that is still numbers that get crunched in their favor.
Exactly, yeah.
So I understand that, but yeah, I guess couldn't say with this little information about it, but yeah, I still stand by the concept that hardware, unlike software, you do have an element of control over what you own. To a certain degree, as long as you're not interacting with other people's hardware. In the process. So if you modified your PlayStation 3 so you could cheat in online games, obviously that affects other people, but on a software level. But in terms of like modding your PS3, I suppose it's a dodgy area. But yeah.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I agree about the hardware thing. It's completely different when you're talking about like affecting the online experience, because you're not just dealing with your own experience, you're affecting the experiences of a lot of other people. And that's what's going on. All right.
It's fine.
Well, what was I talking about? Because I lost my
The
train of thought.
online experience.
Online experiences. Oh, right. I remember now. So like when you mess with the software in such a way that affects online games, that doesn't just affect you. That affects a lot of other people who probably didn't sign up to deal with your bullcrap.
Yeah, basically. Usually you will get your account suspended, and I guess that's a risk you would run if Facebook caught you doing that with the Oculus Quest, which, in their defense, is fair. You know?
Yeah.
In their defense, that does make perfect sense. Sure, they just have to they just have to make sure they come up with a way to keep your account secure when you're on the up and up, or when you're on the level. I mean, sorry, wrong.
So I'm guessing this. Or I guess we may not know necessarily, but was this done on a software level? This modification?
I don't think they've really put out the full details yet, because I think they're just trying to be quite hush about it and just said that it has been done, just not like detailing it in any way yet.
Fair do.
So let me just have a look what it says on here. So. Right, non-profit research company the XR Extended Reality Safety Initiative said it had confirmed root access on the recently released Oculus Quest 2, which was first claimed on Reddit just over a week ago. I'm just reading this off Eurogamer. It's just saying that they've found a way to bypass the Facebook login. Its own researchers have validated the jailbreak, and then it's just about like this. Extended reality people are basically, they're campaigning to the right to repair, their Oculus Quest 2 without, Facebook basically messing it up, basically. I think that's what it's all about. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting that, someone's had to hack a system just to stop you from having to use Facebook. I just thought that was quite interesting.
It's funny how this always seems to happen with DRM. Companies love it, no matter how many times it gets hacked day one.
Yeah,
they just never learn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess.
Me personally, I would just recommend people stay far away from anything Facebook for as long as human lizard Mark Zuckerberg is associated with the company, or at least until Captain Kirk kicks his sorry ass.
I guess I could just throw in this one other bit of news that I wasn't gonna do, but I guess I'll just chuck it in there anyway, because it was from earlier in the week. But so with the PlayStation 5 on its way, Sony has been patching some of their first-party games to accommodate for the backwards compatibility by basically setting up this new compression technique, which apparently they used in a couple of their more recent games, like Ghost of Tunisia. Is that what it's called?
Tsushima.
Tunisia. I couldn't remember the actual title off the top of my head, but yeah, they basically
remember it's Ghost, not ghosts. It's not a plural.
Yeah, that was the important part, not the other part, not the Tunisia part. Basically, they've been patching a few of their first-party games with a new compression technique to basically make sure that they run smoothly on backwards compatibility for the PS5. But as a sort of very nice little quirk of it, is it's actually made the games load much better on the PS4 as well.
Wow.
So, not even by a little amount, by a lot. So it's mainly on Until Dawn and Last of Us Remastered at the moment, but basically the load times have been eradicated. Like, you can play The Last of Us Remastered now on your PS4 and the load times are almost zero. They've gone from 1.5 minutes to 13 seconds.
Get on it, Arcade Studios.
Yeah, I can think of lots of games that this could definitely benefit.
In fact, I was playing
the Yakuza games.
Yeah. I was playing Resident Evil
Yakuza
7
Zero,
last night.
Kiwami. Every time you enter a store, it has to load.
So far, it has mostly been like first-party titles. For example, God of War recently got a patch as well, and that's also reduced the load times and also made the frame rate a little bit better somehow. But yeah, apparently they've been doing some really. It's kind of like when. Do you remember when Nintendo did that patch for Mario Galaxy and Breath of the Wild, where it basically improved load times by basically making the Switch run a bit harder during load times, so it actually sped up.
You mean
the
Mario
load times.
Odyssey?
Mario Odyssey. What did I say? Galaxy?
You said Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, I'm just fluffing all my lines today. But yeah, basically they patched those two games, and suddenly the load times were a lot better because they basically set up a new way of making the Switch.
I completely forgot they did that.
Work on overtime while it's loading, while there's no graphics to render. So
cool.
Yeah, they actually improved the load times by doing that. So I guess I don't know if this is a similar thing. I think it's more to do with the compression techniques, because even all Nintendo games have always been quite small file sizes compared to other companies' games, especially like games on the PS4 and the Xbox One, which can be extremely big. I don't know if this compression technique means the games are smaller file sizes now. I don't know if that's even possible without just re-downloading the game from scratch and not having it on a disc, I suppose. But yeah, the fact that they've managed to not only improve these games for the PS5 but improve them for existing hardware you already have, that's very cool.
Nice happy accident.
yeah, basically. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if it was intentional or not. It just happens that way. Yeah, it's only because people started posting on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, I just started playing this, and now the load times are basically gone."
I really hope more companies could do this. Like I said, Resident Evil 7 last night. That's some ridiculous loading times, like really long. I'm talking like 4 minutes.
I reckon this might start happening because obviously they are saying that the PlayStation 5 is like 99% backwards compatible, but there might be cases where they will want to patch the games to fully, just in case there's like little glitches or just little quirks that are not how they intended. So yeah, they could go in there, hopefully compress the stuff a little bit better. I think this is specifically a Sony thing. I think it's like a technology they've devised to just try and make these games a bit smaller in size, and it's just made a big difference to, I guess it's made the textures slightly lower file sizes without actually making a difference to the picture quality. I don't know. Some kind of special compression technique. So I just thought that was kind of neat. I just think this is neat.
Very cool, actually.
Shush you. Sorry, I have a baby. Don't kick off.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of games that could definitely benefit from this.
Yeah, definitely. There's.
Is there any games that you can think of on like PS4 or even like, because I don't know if this is going to be a similar thing on the Xbox, but I wouldn't be shocked if they also come up with a similar solution for their backwards compatibility stuff. But even at the moment, this seems to be strictly a Sony thing. But
GTA 5 sounds.
Yes.
Yes. GTA 5 could certainly benefit from that.
All our
pretty much any
videos, games.
You spend half of that game
open world game
looking at
you can
Google
think
Maps.
Dishonored 2 has got atrocious load times, and Prey, like I say, Arcane. Oh god, there is something else. It's on the tip of my tongue. There is another game that's loading times are a joke. Like you say, Yakuza games are pretty bad. Like I think
I did mention those. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yakuza 0 and Kiwami and Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. The games that used to use the old engine, every time you enter a building, it has to load. And with Yakuza 6 onward, with the new engine, they don't have to load the interior of most of the buildings.
I know.
There's still loading times, but when you enter Club Sega, for example, in one of the old games, it would have to load, whereas in Yakuza 6 onward, you just walk into the building and it
I
doesn't
think
have
that's
to
just
load
the
a thing.
case of completely different style of engine and the way them games work are so different.
It is,
I
but
guess.
but still, if they had a way to completely eliminate the load times from the earlier games without having to change too much, that would be fantastic.
That would be great. I just think this is really cool that, like, obviously one of the selling points of the next generation consoles, the Xbox Series X and the PS5, is the fact that, one, they will play all your previous gen games, not anything beyond that, but like all your PS4 and your Xbox One games, and the fact that they will run better, they will run on better frame rates, but now it looks like them patching these games to run better on the PS5 is actually benefiting the original hardware as well. I mean, that's great.
Bloodborne was a game that always struck me as atrocious, and it kind of put me off finishing it because every time I died, which is obviously quite...
I think that's the game with bated breath everyone is waiting for Sony to do the same thing for, if they can get
is it bad?
It's pretty bad, yeah.
Oh, no. I really want to get on that one.
I know they're saying that they are promising like improved performance and load times on the PS5, which is to be expected. It can crunch the numbers faster. But if they can find a way to get that compression technique into games like Bloodborne, I'm sure people would just like waiting on bated breath for that patch on their PS4. That would be at this point. It's going to be a case of, oh, can you just like compress this a little bit for me, please? Please, oh please. So I guess we shall wrap up the news for there, and I think that'll do for. I think that'll do for today. I think there was quite some interesting bits and bobs in there.
I reckon so.
Yeah. Very productive week in gaming.
Yeah, there was actually some pretty interesting news out there. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to chat about before we wrap up, or.
Oh yeah, actually, you just reminded me. We were just going to mention our Twitch stuff going on as well.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to be. You know me with the Murray Mondays and things like that. I like to set myself some ambitious sort of challenges. I'm just. Like that. And basically, as of January next year, I have to sort of slow down, and Twitch will be really good during that time because I can basically do like really late evenings, maybe once or twice a week. So what I want to do is I want to really push Twitch until that freedom that I've got now is going to be taken away. Basically, I'll become once again full-time parent because 5 Prince will return back to full-time work, even though that might be at home for now. But either way, like basically my time will be completely taken away during the day. So I want to set myself a bit of a challenge that I'm going to do. I'm going to try it, sort of do a trial of it in November, and I might even stretch it to do basically another attempt at it in December as well. But I'm going to do something called the Road to Affiliate Challenge. Now, I know that name seems a bit sort of, I don't know, silly, but it's not like affiliate is my number one goal. I am actually, also doing this because I do actually really enjoy Twitch, but it is again, it's a challenge. So what I want to do is I want to set myself kind of 2 rules for this challenge. Number one is I try and stream every day throughout the month of November, so that's 30 days.
Wow.
Nice. So that alone is quite difficult, just finding that sort of time, even if it's just some of them will just be about an hour. It will just be me doing a small thing. And the other thing is as well as I want to try and finish 30 games. Now, obviously, I'm going to be very selective and pick games that are quite quick. But I do want to
wins.
Exactly, but I do want to throw some slightly more ambitious ones in there if I make good leeway earlier on. So let's say, for instance, I do a night where because at the moment I'm really running. I probably forgot to mention on games I played actually, but at the moment I'm running Metroid 2 on the Game Boy quite a lot, and I've really shaved that time down now to like an hour and a half. So say I do a night where I do that, and then I do like Celeste or something, which I can do in about an hour, and then like in one stream that's a couple of games down. Then I can do like a longer stream where I can do a couple of Resident Evil games that I know like the back of my head, like the recent 2 and 3 remakes. I could do those really quick now. Nice. So if let's say at the start of the month I really hit the ground running and get about 5 or 6 games down, then I might throw in some longer games like Shenmue, because those aren't. Even though I can do them relatively quickly, just the pace of the game alone.
I guess you could call this a nippy run challenge in a way.
Kind of like a
Because you're
nippy
just trying
month.
to, yeah, nippy month maybe, which sounds.
A bit off, but
Nippy Barrett.
So yeah, that's
I know
what I'm
it's
going to do.
November, but you know.
That's what I'm going to try in November, and then how it goes, like whether it actually kicks off or if no one actually cares. It depends if what happens in December. But I might end up doing it again in December, and it'll just be like from Road to Affiliate Part 2. And just so you know, I have no what's the word? Like I don't think I'm actually going to make affiliate, but it's still a nice sort of goal.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to do it because I know people that have been going
stuff
for months.
daily. If you're going to be doing streams daily, I think you'll, especially if
You
you're
stand a
doing
good
all
chance.
different games, you have a chance of hitting a lot
True.
of different people might pop in, see that you're
It
playing.
would be nice,
especially
but
since you're playing on like the PS4 as well. That actually benefits you a bit because you do get people coming that are watching it
That's
from the
true.
PS4. So you
Yeah.
have actually got a bit of an advantage there by running them through that.
That is a very good point, because that's how I have to do most of my games. There will be a couple of things on the PC, like I'll be doing, like Metroid 2 will be through like a Game Boy on emulator, and I want to do like Streets of Rage remake and stuff like that. So
nice.
because that's another quick. Well, yeah, it is a quick one. It's Streets of Rage. Basically. You either do it quite quickly or you die trying. It's basically an arcade game, isn't it? So there'll be stuff like that. I've got a little list in my mind at the moment, but I haven't got all 30 in my mind yet. But yeah, basically I'll be trying to aim for kind of short burst games that could be done in no longer than say 2 hours. So like AM2R, which we did recently, I'll be trying to do that again and trying to once again try and get it under 2 hours. So I just thought that might be worth a mention. Jump in and support me if you can. I'll be obviously working quite hard throughout November. All my streams will be in Greenwich Mean Time anyway. They'll be sort of 9 o'clock onwards because of I had to work around childcare and stuff like that. So they will be late for us.
We'll have to figure out how to squeeze like the podcast around that and that. But should be
of course. Obviously on let's say we are going to do them on Wednesdays and or that sort of time. Then obviously it would like let's say for instance we were doing tonight. I'll be starting in like 5 minutes or something like that. It'll be a really late one.
Yeah, that works.
But so it might be more of a USA fan base that comes in because obviously what time is it for you, Elk, at the moment?
About 3.
Right
4?
now it's let's check. Right now it's 6:55 in the east coast of the US.
That's perfect, isn't it? If I get started, because over here it's 5 to 11 at night now. So So, so that's what I'll be doing over the next month or two. So, please join me, pop in and give me a follow because I need it. I'm a very, very small. I literally started Twitch streaming properly last week. So,
or was it? You're doing all right for 1 week, I have to say.
Really
I am, and I have to thank both. I have to thank basically everyone sat here today because you've all been, pushing people my way. So thank you very much. I've had a couple of raids, and
basically on the description on YouTube for this podcast, I have put all of our Twitch channels.
Nice one.
Yeah, so we don't really need to spell them out for anyone. They're right there in the description.
Yeah, there we go.
Come see us do stuff in the week because I think we're all pretty much plugging away at little projects on our Twitch channels at the moment. So
I mean, I've actually not done as many streams as I wanted this week because I've mainly just been enjoying the community side, like popping into other people. It's not just not even just us either. I've also found a few other people thanks to ShelvedGamer sort of pointing me towards some interesting folks, and it's been really nice. I love the community of Twitch so far.
It's really inspiring, to be honest. It's really inspiring just seeing what kinds of things people get up to, and like
been great. Some of
the
pushing me to do things like get on with my music as well. Like I'm one of these people when my discipline does flag unless I have something to sort of kick me up the arse. And for me, it's that for me it's that terrifying prospect of like, right, you said you're going to stream tonight, so why haven't you been practicing? You're like, oh god, so like you start pushing yourself. Exactly, I'm the sort of that, I'm afraid.
I know what you mean.
Otherwise, I will procrastinate and I won't get on with it. Basically,
I know what you mean.
So, I'm finding it really useful because what I'm hoping to do is I'm gonna maybe from next Monday, I want to do Murray Mondays again, but they're going to be on Twitch now, and they're going to be just all sorts of things, really. But to start off with, it's going to be basically my just chatting slot, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll mostly be doing music, but sometimes I'll probably do something else, like I don't know, like whatever comes to mind. Like maybe we could get like the fitness stuff going again. You never know.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think it'll be more possible to do it in a stream format, because the biggest problem I had when filming Mario Mondays, if anyone remembers, that was something I used to do years ago. I tried to get it off the ground, but it was just too much work. Yeah,
it was all that footage, wasn't it? It was trying to edit that footage down. Yeah,
that's right.
Really made it. That's why we've kind of moved away from editing videos, because it was just too much work and too much time.
Yeah.
Whereas now the technology is there that we can just point the camera at ourselves. And as long as we sync everything up nicely, it just works, and you've done it, and it's uploaded, and you're done. You know.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
System for most cases. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm really positive about it. I can't wait to get cracking in a couple of days' time with the Road to Affiliate Challenge.
Yeah.
Are you still considering a Resident Evil 7 stream soon as well?
Yeah, we're thinking of doing that bang on Halloween, which is on Saturday this week.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So yeah, I've been, as I was saying, I've been having a little practice with it, but I'm making sure not to touch the VR yet. I want to make sure, but my first blind through in VR is on the headset. And honestly, it is actually a good idea that I got some practice in, because otherwise you would have just seen me stumble around for 2 hours, like on the intro, because I just seven's
yeah.
Exactly, that is what happened on my first playthrough, and like. I'm actually glad that I know how to do the sort of early bits, because then we'll actually hurry up and get to the interesting bits now. Because 7 is so different to the rest of the series, and I'm someone who can, without being a bit smug, I can run quite a few of the games, old and new, pretty damn quickly. So the fact that it's a game in a series that I kind of know very well, that's throwing me off. It's exciting in itself, really.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it, despite what's happening to me.
Right, so has anyone else got anything they want to plug about their Twitch channels at the moment, or?
Yeah, go on.
I mean, mine's sort of the regular at the moment. Though I haven't done it today, but I'm trying to just do a little bit every day, even if it's not long streams.
I'll tell you what, I think we should give a round of applause to both Hunk Thunder and ShelvedGamer for making affiliate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys.
Cheers, man.
Good job. Well deserved.
Yeah, no, thank you. It was fun. I'm not going to say it wasn't a bit mentally draining, but it was very fun to go there and meet loads of new people and to really get a sense of this whole Twitch thing. It just feels so positive.
It really does, yeah.
And I mean, I think I don't know if me and Hunk Thunder hit a gold one with the Donkey Kong thing, but it seems to have really gained quite a bit of traction for both of us.
Yeah, you seem to be finding a lot of players of Donkey Kong that are just finding your stream and going, "Oh, hey, someone else that plays Donkey Kong," and like they're sort of coming along and going, "Well, I can teach you things," and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, funny you should mention that. There's a channel called Charlie Farr, who's actually based in Bury near Arcade Club. He's online at the moment. Got 10 viewers going on. Okay. But yeah, he's basically told me and ShelvedGamer, hey, if you want to get good at Donkey Kong, come and have a watch of my channel. And yeah, us two have learned so much from that. Yeah.
That's what I mean about this community. It's like people do stumble on your streams, don't they? If you're lucky, and then, you can form these new friendships and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. So yeah, I'm going to carry on with the Donkey Kong. Also, I'm playing No More Heroes right now. I'm aiming to finish it through on stream if people want to see that through to the end.
Oh, definitely. It's not like a really, really long game. So, you played it before, haven't you? It's a hack and slash. It's not a marathon. You can definitely do it in a few seconds.
12 hours tops. Yeah, exactly.
If that.
So yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. I've been thinking about Halloween. I don't know because it's quite close now, and I haven't really. I was thinking Resi 4, but I don't know. That might
be good.
Might be a chance. If I don't, I might just fall back on Castlevania.
I might also consider a Halloween stream on Saturday, possibly sometime in the day. I haven't decided yet, but I have been looking at my horror-related Sega Saturn games and having to think about maybe do
That
a
would
couple
be
of
pretty
those.
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That would be cool.
Citation needed if I actually do it, but I'm just putting it out there. I might do it.
I just, yeah, you know, as for regards to what I'm doing next in the channel in the broad strokes, I know I'm thinking about attacking some other arcade games to try and get good at, without losing my groove with Donkey Kong, because I feel like I've got a thing here and I don't want to lose that.
Definitely.
But
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I've thought about trying some other things. I've got Pac-Man and things like that. Donkey Kong Jr. I could get. Just thoughts, spitballing really at the moment. So that's pretty much that's the future of my channel at the moment.
Yeah. Basically, I don't really want to break away from Nintendo, but I just don't want to be like the guy that just streams from his Switch. I've got like my PS4, I've got my Xbox One, and my PC's like tons of games of that. So I'm just trying to think what would be suitable. Well, speaking of which, I know I mentioned it last week. Dead Island, going to be doing that on Saturday.
Cool.
But yeah, it's just I'm trying to think of like a schedule, like ahead. It is kind of weird that I usually do play games depending on what mood I am in. So I can't like you say like in a whole week's time I'm going to be in the mood to play, say, Tony Hawk, or the other day I'm going to be playing something like Streets of Rage 4. It's going to be a bit weird, but yeah, probably if I put my mind to it, I can get there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, anyone else twitching away?
I mean, I know you're still planning.
Not me.
Things.
Yeah,
No.
like Aaron's been doing like Sonic ROM hacks lately. I'm thinking about doing ROM hacks for one or two of the classic Phantasy Star games, including one that I've played like through to the end, like once before. So they're basically
Sounds good.
Yeah, basically hard mode like editions.
Oh, yeah, because those games aren't hard enough. That sounds good. Yeah.
I'd like to see that. As a fan of Phantasy Star, that's something I'd definitely like to see.
Yeah, one of the ones is called Hordes of Nay. It's basically like you got the original, but there's like more ferocious enemies in there, and you get more money for killing them.
Oh, that's good. Actually, that's what PS2 Phantasy Star 2 needs.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, then.
I think with that we should probably wrap this up this podcast. That's what I wanted to say. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm just like flubbing everything. I'm just like,
please get your lines right.
It's like
lines that
yesterday.
are not written anywhere.
You didn't have any drink.
It's
No,
Ghosts
you were
of
the one that had the wine.
Tsushima, not Ghosts of Tunisia. Whatever you said.
Tunisia, yeah.
I would play that game.
If anyone wants to take that idea, they can take that idea if they want.
Please
Please name this episode "Ghosts of Tunisia."
That's the title. Right.
Yes.
Right. Jeez.
Yes.
Alright, calm down. Right, I have been the Gagaman. Or you can also call me Animated AF, or you can just call me AF if you want. AF.
He's animated.
Yeah.
I'm Cherry Terrier, or I have been.
Oh yeah, Murry Curry, and that's also my Twitch, so that works out.
I am also known as You Have No Diggity on Twitch.
I'm Hunk Thunder, also known as Hunk Thunder.
Artist formerly known as Johnny Noophead.
Yeah.
And I'm Big Elk, and they call me Big Elk because I tell them to call me Big Elk.
Or else.
Right, and that will do us for this week. I'm just going to play us out with a little bit of music from No More Heroes 2. So, see you later.
Did I mention you should play No More Heroes 1 and 2?
No, you didn't.
Well, you should.
Well, do it.
They're good.
Do it.
Yeah.
Please do it. Do it.
Do we have to be quiet?